Back in 2012, the city of Orangeville, Ontario, was considered a small town. It still is today, but it has definitely grown in the past 12 years. The case of Sonia Varaschin started out as a missing persons case, but is now considered one of the most high-profile unsolved homicide cases in Ontario. On August 30th, 2010, 42-year-old Sonia Varaschin was reported missing after she didn't show up for work. Later that day, police found her blood-stained Toyota Corolla abandoned behind a business on Broadway in downtown Orangeville. The ownership inside led to Sonia's townhouse at 5 Spring Street in Orangeville.
So this is the location here where her vehicle was found that morning, Monday morning, on the 30th of August. By the positioning of the vehicle, it looks like somebody probably drove in from this direction here, wheeled in, parked in behind here. Whoever it was took off. Blood's obvious. Anybody looking at the car would have seen the blood on the back of the bumper area, and there's some on the door handle. Within the vehicle was Sonia's nursing identification. So the officers thought maybe she was next door at a business, so, you know, being optimistic, they hoped that was the case. She wasn't. And from here, the license plate gave them Sonia's address, and then they go over to her home to check on her well-being.
There were no signs of forced entry. Blood was found inside and outside, and Sonia was nowhere to be found. There was also missing bed sheets and a comforter from the home. Police believe that the pediatric nurse, who had just started a new job at a pharmaceutical company, was unalived inside her home. Her body was then wrapped with the missing sheets and comforter and dragged out of her home. On September 5th, 2010, Sonia's body was found by a dog walker in a wooded area near Beach Grove Side Road and Mountain View Road in Caledon, 12 kilometers away from the crime scene.
On September 5th, a gentleman was walking his dog on Beach Grove Side Road, and his dogs ran into the bush, and he followed the dogs, and he found the remains of Sonia Varaschin.
Police also recovered the missing bed sheets. Her death was ruled a homicide. The killer was believed to be wearing a man's size 10 or 11 Dakota or Wind River brand boot sold exclusively at Mark's Work Warehouse. In October of 2020, Global News aired an episode of Crime Beat that focused Sonia's case. Her mother, Michelle Varaschin, was interviewed and reveals that her family does not know the cause of death.
I don't know nothing. The only thing I know is where they found her body.
Are you frustrated by that?
You better believe I am frustrated. I think I have the right to know how she died.
However, investigators stated that this is a tactic used when investigating. People have a tendency to turn themselves in for crimes they didn't commit. With only the police and the killer knowing some of the details, it's easier to tell when someone is falsely taking blame. A year after Sonia's unaliving, her house was sold without the buyer being aware of the history. When they became aware, they abandoned the purchase. 12 years later, her case remains unsolved. While police say they have received more than 1,500 tips, minimal information in the case has been released. The killer continues to remain elusive, and questions continue to plague the investigation. Is the killer a local? Did he know Sonia? Have they killed anyone since that day or before? Police are still offering a $50,000 reward to anyone who can provide police with information leading to an arrest and conviction. Have you ever heard about this case? Or do you live in Orangeville? Do you remember hearing about this case? Please like and share this video. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so.
Sonia Varaschin was a 42-year-old single female who lived by herself. She was a pediatric nurse. Sonia didn't lead a risky lifestyle. She was somewhat quiet. She was friendly to people, but she was quiet.
Throughout working on this case, I would come out here and sit. This is one of the places where you can feel a little bit closer to Sonia.
Sonia was targeted. However, she may have not known who did this to her, but they knew who she was.